Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Weekly Crop. This week I'm very excited to talk about a new company that has aligned itself with Vistek. We are the exclusive distributor here in Canada for SmallRig. And if you're not familiar with SmallRig, well, let me tell you, if you've been on a set anywhere in the last 3 to 4 years, you have undoubtedly come in contact with a SmallRig product, whether you knew it or not. It's a real favorite of DPs and video shooters because it's a modular camera system that allows you basically. This is kind of a silly analogy, but I love Vietnamese food, and one of the things I love to do when I go for Vietnamese food is you open up a menu and you realize there's 1,000 different items that you can order in this restaurant. But functionally, they're all made of the same sort of 5 or 6 ingredients, just kind of, changed around a little bit. And this is sort of the Vietnamese menu of camera rigging because it's so modular, it's so a la carte. You can basically choose the system and create a system that works best for your shooting environment. Now, here at Vistek, we're focusing on primarily the mirrorless camera systems and all the modularity that comes with that. And I assure you, if you've just started shooting with a mirrorless camera for video, not necessarily photography, but for video, then rigging is going to change the game for you. It's going to make it a lot faster, a lot more fluid. Your shots are going to be better. Your gear is going to be protected, and it's a really incredible system. So we have a massive SKU assortment here for SmallRig products. I'm not going to go through them all. I want to kind of show you a highlight. If you want to know more about what we're actually carrying here in Canada for SmallRig, well, then you can just go onto our site, vistek.ca, go into the search bar, search SmallRig, and you will see our full list of SKU assortments. And this is also really handy because SmallRig predominantly has always been a mail order company. You had to order from their website. You don't get a chance to sort of try it or play with it. And the ability to have it here in a brick and mortar stores, you can visit one of our stores here in Canada, and you can hold it and you can try it and you can see if it's going to really work for your intended use and what you want to achieve in your videography. So without further ado, let's go through the list of what you can expect with SmallRig. The first thing I want to show you is just a sort of a basic rigged up example of what you can expect with SmallRig products and how you can change around that modularity. Right here I've got the X-T3 from Fujifilm and the cage for that. You can basically get a cage for just about any major mirrorless camera on the market, specifically the ones as well that shoot great video. If you have a mirrorless camera and it's a decent one, chances are they make a cage for it, and I encourage you to get that cage because number one, you start with the cage. That's your basement, that's your basis, and with that cage you're going to protect your camera, which is great, but it's also going to allow you to rig a lot of different other things on it, like handles, for example, or a monitor, or a microphone, other top handles, for example, things like that. So it's going to allow you to grip your camera in a different way. It's going to create some weight, which is actually a good thing because when your hands are super close to the sensor, I'm just going to actually remove this little microphone thing. Just get that out of the way. When your hand is super close to the sensor, it's going to be less stable because every small little movement is translated into that sensor. So the further you can get your hands away from the sensor, the more stable your shots are going to be. And the better your hand grips are, again, makes the shots more stable. So further away, more solid hand grips. So hand grips are one of the first things that you can do with the SmallRig stuff is just getting it away. And then also top handles allows you to support sort of like this. I do this quite often, especially because it really mimics a cinema camera with a top handle and even a weight of a light-bodied cinema camera. In fact, I'm shooting this right now on the EVA 1, and this feels pretty similar in terms of weight and balance right now to the EVA 1. So if you're used to that, you want a system that feels like a cinema camera, this is great. And you've got a beautiful cage for your monitors as well. So any major monitor that you have on the market or recorder from Atomos, Small HD, Blackmagic, Video Assist, they've got a cage for it. So you can put the cage around that. It protects it. It allows you to put sun hoods on and then just rigs everything in any particular scenario. Now, one of the more popular rigs right now on the market, because the camera is so popular, it's the cage for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. And the reason that this is so popular, if you know anything about this camera, you can probably guess why. It's two reasons predominantly. Number one is that the media, when you record on this, gets sucked up pretty fast, especially if you are recording RAW. And so the best way to kind of economize the workflow for this camera is to get a separate solid state hard drive recorder and then mount it to the cage. So they got some options for that, and it's basically designed to allow you to do that. So that's number one, is that it's a great way to economize and be able to get the most out of your media. The second thing is, as you can imagine with a raw recording camera, it sucks up battery power quite fast. And so because they use LPE6 batteries from Canon, it doesn't last very long. That's one of the chief complaints with this camera. So one great workaround for a professional solution to that problem is what SmallRig has is a V-lock plate. I've got the V-lock plate mounted to just a separate rod mount cheese plate here. Multiple rigging options. You don't have to do this system. You can kind of rig it however you want. What you can do with the V-mount now is you can run V-mount from PTAP to a dummy battery, dummy LPE6, and that will allow you to have a much longer record time. So if you are making money from your videos, if you are a professional videographer, then you really can't afford to just be going off the LPE6s, because you could be in the middle of a shot and then suddenly notice your camera's gonna die in about 30 seconds and you know the shot's gonna last another 2 minutes. So having a professional solution with some V-mount batteries is going to really change the game for you when you are running cameras that use a lot of battery power. And even if not, I mean, a battery like this will pretty much last you all day long. And so it's a great way to be professional as well in terms of just being able to move quickly. So really, really love that. And you can continue to adapt this guy as well. You can add a whole bunch of other things to these, other handles, as you know, as I've already spoken about. One of the other things that I really love about the SmallRig system is their articulating arms. Traditionally, these articulating arms, or what's also called Noga arms, have been quite expensive. They've been a bit of a specialty item, despite the fact that they're kind of ubiquitous. Like every DP, every camera assistant, every operator needs them, uses them, but we've bemoaned how expensive they were. What's great about the SmallRig stuff is that they've created a articulating arm in both 5 and 7 inch, really long arm, which is great. So I really, really love these. You can buy a bundle of them for what it costs to just get one before, which is great. Now, if you're serious about shooting video with your mirrorless camera, you're gonna wanna add a monitor to that, of course, because the monitors on the back here don't really give you very many exposure tools, that you can't see them very well in bright sunlight. So having an external monitor or an external recorder will also give you access to greater bit depths and better quality video as well. So buying a small monitor or a small recorder and getting a rig for it like this that you can mount it is fantastic. But one of the things that you need to consider when you have that, so if you've got both the camera cage and the monitor rigged to your camera cage, a very important part of that process, and it's a very small item but very, very key, is an HDMI clamp. And the reason that you're going to need that is all mirrorless cameras, with the exception of the GH5, which has a full HDMI port, all the other ones have a micro or mini. And those are the kind of things where if you look the wrong way, or if the wind changes direction, it breaks. I myself have had to get my HDMI ports on some of my cameras replaced once or twice before I learned my lesson. So the HDMI clamp is going to protect your HDMI from basically breaking the cable or breaking the port. And man, if you break your port, that means you're going to have to send your camera away, and you might be without your camera for 3 to 4 weeks perhaps. And that's lost income if you make money making videos. And so part of this whole small HD process is creating a camera system that is professional, that allows you to create content in a very professional manner that reduces or eliminates any potential downtimes you might have from just a very slimmed down rig. So this is sort of a rig that is common that I might use if I'm shooting on a mirrorless camera, as well as mirrorless cameras don't have in neutral density on the inside. So if you're shooting outside in a very bright environment, you're going to need a neutral density filter. Now you can get screw-on neutral density filters, but again, remember this is downtime. Every time that you've got to change a lens, you're changing a neutral density filter. Some of the variable neutral density filters can have infrared pollution in them, depending on the quality that you're getting and things like that. So the best plan generally for moving quick on set or moving quick when you're doing your video is to get a small matte box that fits 4x4 or 4x5.6 plate neutral density filters, and those will allow you to swap those out in and out fast, but it'll also give you some brows, some hoods, things like that. And those are typically mounted onto your rail system here. So you've got a great base rail plate that allows you to mount both stuff in the back and in the front on the rails. But then you've also got a quick release. So if you want to just go handheld for whatever reason really quick, you can pop it in and out just with this Arca Swiss plate here and a quick, nice little great latch, which is awesome. And then a couple other things that I just want to sort of talk about really quick when it comes to all of this sort of stuff is the NATO rail system. So NATO rail system was developed for the military, particularly with firearms and sighting equipment and things like that. It allowed the operator to be able to make a lot of quick adjustments to their system. And so we've got their great handles. They've got a number of different handles, and that will just slide on to the rail system like this, and then you can tighten. Super, super secure and allows for multiple rigging points that are quick release. While we're on the subject of handles, they've got some incredible handles that help you get a really, really secure grip. This one's great because it has some rigging points on the top and a cold shoe. As you saw, I had the microphone mount on it earlier. This is really nice. I mean, it's just a pretty standard design hand grip, but really helps with a nice secure fit. One of the other things that you can get with the SmallRig system is these super beautiful articulated hand grips that just feel so amazing in your hands. And they come with 3 different adapting types. You can hard mount it in with 1/4-20s right into your cage. You can use RE rosette system, but mounted onto the RE rosette is another NATO rail system. So I can slide that in and then clamp it in really quick. And then I can make my quick adjustments here in terms of my direction with my RE rosette. And it's a fantastic system. I really, really love these handles. They make such a massive difference. And what's so incredible about SmallRig is that you get such a high quality product for such an approachable price, because they know, hey, you're buying a mirrorless camera, you're not buying a Red camera or an Arri Alexa. They get that. They get that you don't have the budget of some of the big cinema camera systems. And so they're gonna make this stuff for you that is still really, really well built, but doesn't cost an arm and a leg. And that's what I really, really love about SmallRig. The amount that you can change and adapt the SmallRig system is kind of limitless to your imagination. They have just about everything. They have small 1/4-20 and 3/8-16 screws, all sorts of different things that you can do. And one of the things I even love actually in terms of adjustability is in their top handle here, they've actually put in your hex key set. So if you want to make an adjustment, if you want to remove this, or if you want to slide this handle back and forth, the hex key's embedded in, so you don't have to go searching through your bag. You can grab it, make the adjustment, pop it back in, and you're ready to go. So super fast movement. If you're interested in learning more about our SmallRig stuff, again, as I said in the top of the video, go to vistek.ca, and at the top of the page in the search bar, type in SmallRig, all one word, and you will see pages and pages of everything that we have from SmallRig for the mirrorless shooter. And that's it for this week. Thanks so much for watching, guys. As always, please subscribe to our channel. Thumbs up if you like the video. Thumbs down if you don't like the cut of my jib. And that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. Happy shooting.